Hey guys, how's it going? RedMaster here, and welcome back to Set of Cards and Castles TV commentary. Good matches lined up today. Of course, start of the March 2021 season. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into match number 1. Alright, and so for our first match, it is going to be DreamEater taking on oviciouz. A bit of a Warlock Crusader taking on a Pirate Druid. I've already kind of jumped into the matchup here. See if I round a bit and actually get the mulligans here, or at least the... Actually, they don't get mulligans in every place. I always forget that. Anyway, we're starting off things hot and spicy with the good old Salahar Rider down the middle here. So, hand kind of maybe foretelling a bit of no interaction from Dream's side of things here. We're seeing Horseman, seeing Rider. Craxus, hard to tell, but I think still leaning on that side here. oviciouz going to go ahead and plop down the turn 1 Hovel. Great response to these riders here, getting a cheap answer for these riders. Ends up taking the Daggerstorm route to remove both riders without having to waste the Rat here. Rat absorbing one of the rider last will damages, while the other landing on Castle. Not too bad, he still keeps the Hovel at full health, although nearly not for long. Blue Firebolt removing that, that's a great option to get for your top deck. I mean... it is what it is here. oviciouz looking to pass his turn 3, unfortunately. That is a bit of a downer, but hey, it will allow Dream to get some more draw into his hand here. Picking up another Horseman and a Darkbender, which, again, feels like we're getting the more pieces for no interaction here. Arbiter's Return, okay, well, big scary heal now in Dream's future. Very nice. oviciouz going with the Armory play that gets immediately sniped out by the Horseman. You hate to see it here. How oviciouz respond to the Horseman play with a Lumberjack. Great cleanup and getting some draw for himself. Excellent stuff here. He'll also go down the Maddie, which yields a Sea Witch in response. Okay, not bad. We'll love to see a Darkbender or a Tarius in that position, but hey, Sea Witch is just fine and dandy here. We're going to place the Darkbender a bit aggressively here for Dream. The Sea Witch can engage with this, so if oviciouz is packing things like another Daggerstorm or mugging in this deck, could actually lose the Darkbender right here, so we'll see if that's going to be the case here. Okay, Onslaught, it does reduce down to a 3-4 here, and it looks like we are going for the interaction. Of course, the 2 skeletons will pop out, taking down the Darkbender, leaving the bleed to finish it off, so he could actually remove the Darkbender, which he ended up doing. Very nice, trying to even things out here a little bit here. We'll go with the Flying Books and Drain Life combination, taking out one of the pirates, getting that Books a bit healthier at a 5-5, now 5-4, thanks to interacting with that pirate here. And that's good for Dream. He needs more draw here. He definitely needs more draw. Alright. Call for Aid plus Elvish Thief, though, is the play from oviciouz here. Call for Aid can be really deadly against these Craxuses in hand, because, of course, they are at 5-7, technically, and so Ranger's 7 attack can easily clear that out without giving Dream draw, so he has to be careful here of how he plays these Craxuses, which he's going to play 1 for turn, and throw it right down in front. This is going to prompt probably a Ranger to come out. Yep, okay, there it is. Big boy blocking Castle here. Dream can remove this if he wants to. Okay, Book's going for it. Horseman probably to snipe it off. Okay, gets the Thief instead. That's unfortunate here. He's going to fear it back. Does he go for Castle? Okay, Tarius follows. He sets it for a Flamestorm next turn. Okay, Lumberjack as well. Cool and dandy. Probably would have liked to see the Horseman in Lumberjack's position if this Ranger is to kind of get back in that, trading position. It means the Horseman can clear it out easier, and of course Crax can move in here. But we'll see if oviciouz has got a response. I mean, he's got a second Ranger in hand that's probably going to come out now to block for this. We'll see if anything else happens. There is enough for scope, I think, in that hand. Oh, look at me go. There's Dwarven Scope. That will, of course, snipe off the Craxus, and then the, the 7-3 does go behind, so not the best position for DreamEater here. We're going to see a Lumberjack trade into the Ranger, same with the Horseman, so that way the Flamestorm can get max value here. We're not wasting those units. We'll pull, okay, 2 Incinerates, which... Again, yeah, definitely reinforce some kind of no interaction here. With Paladin and Cleric, that's kind of interesting. Trying to get, I guess, the heal advantage over other decks in the mirror matchup. Although that Cleric can be placed a little too aggressively, in my opinion. Of course, that will make the trade here. oviciouz does take that Cleric out. A bit weird why we didn't try to save that, but okay, here comes Mordok in the Ranger's place here. Nice 4-5, meaty 4-5, which Dream can do nothing about, just judging from his hand here. He's going to have to just block Craxus and hold for now. Bit of a weird block, but okay. I can respect that here. Dwarven Scope on the Mordok, not what we'd like to see here. Bestial Rage is the follow-up. Okay, so that's going to do a lot of damage here. This actually might be game ending if we don't have a easy out for this. We're going to see Horseman go into the castle here. The Wraith going to go into the Craxus. Spiny could have done the job here, but of course, Vicious knows that no interaction decks do like that draw, so I like how he was observant and using the Wraith instead to block Dream's additional draw. But we'll see how this goes here. Can Dream recover is the question. He's got an Arbiter's in hand, but will that be enough to actually deal anything of value? He will go for Castle because no interaction decks do like that. They can win in a burn scenario here from hand, but it looks like he just did not have enough resources to end the game. So the match does go to Vicious. Very nicely done from the Mordok Scope boy. Listen, Scope Rampage is still a very deadly combination in my opinion. People obviously overlook it because, of course, Fenrir's fallen out of favor. But, I mean, Scope Rampage, it's still out there. It still can catch you by surprise if you're not careful, like it did Dream here. And, yeah, deadly, deadly stuff. So, great win for Vicious here. Let's go ahead and move on to our next match, though, and see what that match has in store for us. Alright, and match number 2 does see Count Peter taking on a buffman, a little bit of Pirate Warlock, going up against the Warlock Viking. Now, I did want to showcase this match because there has been a slight influx of just different rush varieties as of lately on the ladder here. So we'll see if maybe we can see that in action here, or if it's going to be a different deck of sorts, as we've got things like Furnace Pillar in our hand. And Detonate. Okay, so I think this is definitely a deck that wants to get up close and personal to your face. Just judging by things like those buildings and the Detonate in hand here. We'll see if Peter's got the response for it. Going to open up with the Southport Captain for his turn 2. So that's going to provide him with some early game ramp here and sort of a block to this Questing Knight. Throwing out the Dwarven Miner instead of the Furnace. Okay, seems fine. We're going to go for a Rat King here on the side of Peter. That can do some... Yeah, that can remove everything here. Captain goes to the Miner. Questing Knight falls to the Rat King, and plus an additional Rat, and we still have one to mess around with, which, okay, does see a Grotesque Offering play, so getting some more cards into hand, not bad. I think that's definitely what you want to see against the rush. You want to have options in hand to probably block off some of these early threats here, because really once you figure out the initial rush stages of the matchup, you know, get through their initial onslaught, their initial bombardment, they really start to peter out, and that's really just where you take the win right there. Like, once you get past their early game onslaught, that's it. The deck just dies. So, we'll see. We'll see, though, because Buffman's got a deck here that might be a bit different to it. Things like Pillar, Furnace. We haven't really seen a lot of early game. Well, I say that we did see Dwarven Miner and Questing Knight, and I think this is definitely a rush deck. Things like Soldier definitely helps establish that, but still. Interesting stuff here. So we're going to go ahead and see an Ice Drake play for turn. Won't be surprised if the Soldier follows suit. Yes, it does, because of course rush decks do like to play all their tools as fast as possible. We'll see if Peter can respond with anything great here, going for a Horde Smuggle Ring. Okay, getting some additional minor spells. That heal will be pretty valuable here. Same with that Disintegrate. Those are going to be some great pickups for Peter, especially trying to survive this early onslaught. Down goes a Detonate that leaves Salhar Soldier to do 2 on face here. We'll see if Peter can correctly predict if it's Detonate here and disintegrate the Ice Drake. At least that's what I would like to see from this play moving forward. Because, of course, if it is Detonate and you hit the Soldier first, an unnecessary 5 damage goes onto your castle, and that's not what we want to see here. So, we'll see Disintegrate played on the Soldier. Okay, so there goes the 5 right on castle. I guess maybe... Okay, and he had Dagger Storm anyway, so that was a bit interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think I definitely would have liked to see the Disintegrate play on the Ice Drake. I think that would have been the correct play, even if you were to assume it is Might of the Minotaur. If you burn the back Ice Drake, that Detonate still will trigger, so... a bit risky on the play here, but does have the heal for that Detonate. He could have preserved the heal, though, if he had just burned the Ice Drake instead and saved the Dagger Storm for the Soldier. But anyway, moving on, we'll see a Maddie play going into a Windmage. That's all in dandy. We're not going to live with the Ice Drake much longer anyway. And we'll throw it back to Buffman for his turn. Going with the Rune Warrior for turn. Okay, he could have done Scout Furnace, but instead decided to put a bigger body on the board. Completely fine there. We'll see if Peter's got the response for it, though, as we see Windmage going into the Rune Warrior. Another Dagger Storm hitting the big boy and removing him from play here. Alright, putting Buffman in a bit of a tough position here, because of course he's running out of tools here. We're seeing him at least play 2 cards per turn here, and Peter able to match that, if not make better interactions and better trades off of it. So this is looking a bit dicey for the Rush player. We'll see if Peter's got the response for this, though. Darkfire. Alright, you don't see that too often. Rider going to the castle, not what he wanted to see. He wanted probably that Rider hit the Wind Mage at least to kind of even out the board a little bit here. So Buffman pulling General for turn does play that same General. That seems fine here. We could set up a dangerous pillar combination with General. We'll see if that comes to fruition here. Southport into Merchants into another Smuggling. Okay, getting some more minor spells. Gifted the Shepherd, another great pickup for some additional healing for the castle here, which we do play. 2 of those bursts land on the castle, bring it up to 19. Not too bad, not too bad at all here. We're going to play Pillar for turn, Infernal Furnace. So we'll see a bit of a trade here. I would have probably liked to see, well, a little small misplay there. I probably would have connected to the Southport Captain first with the Pillar General to remove both it and, well, yeah, you see, that's where it gets tough. That's where, I understand why he did that. It was a bit of a gamble. You want to play the Furnace so that way you have the body in order to place it because it is close, but, it is interesting here. I think you could have probably saved the Furnace, but it's fine. It's fine. So we're going to go ahead and see the Furnace get popped down. The Last Will from Molten Pillar / General going on to the Wind Mage, removing it from play here. Unfortunately, though, in the hand of Peter is a Mordok being buffed up by that Shadow Katana from one of those minor spell pulls earlier on in the game here. Horseman does connect to the Pillar. Sacrificing that same Horseman, getting some castle damage. I think he wanted to take out the Pillar, but getting more castle damage is, you know, very nice instead. We'll see Dwarf Miner and Griffin probably both come out this turn, I imagine. Again, it just follows the principle of this deck. Okay, we're going to save the Miner. Saving Miner is completely fine here. I guess we want to make sure that there is an option in hand for later, so that way we can threaten our opponent here. Combustion plus Thief, though, that does remove the Pillar here, following up the Altar for turn. And I think we have Disable still left in our hands, so that will hit, of course, the Windfall Griffin, so that way it cannot make a clean trade with the Mordok. But unfortunate there, but Dragon's Fire for the turn is going to be just what Buffman needs, especially with that Banshee pull. Okay, picking up a Dragon Search is Peter, not too upset about that, I imagine. And then, of course, playing that Dwarven Miner. So now both players somewhat out of resources. Peter a bit ahead because he does have that Dragon Search plus the draw. And plays Kraken for turn. Alright, Raw Kraken. Going for the 10 gold here. I'm curious if this is more of a monster build, maybe, if he's got something like that in hand. Looks like Questionnaire going to come out now for turn. That, of course, connects to the Kraken. Same with the Dwarven Miner, kind of get it off the field here. Now Buffman in a really rough spot here, only having at least a turn or two to deal with it. And I think this is pretty much it for the Rush player. Resources gone, just overall not in a great position here. He does pull Rider and Dragon's Fire for turn, which is great here. He pops Dragon's Fire. That will, of course, remove the zombies here, make the Rider hopefully hit the Green Drake for turn to buy himself some more time. Unfortunately, that does hit the altar, so that means Buffman's match does come to an end here, and it will be his loss. A bit unfortunate to see, but overall, some great stuff from Count Peter in this matchup here. Darkfire, alright, just going to put the exclamation point on it, yep. And that will be the game. Interesting minor spell deck here from Peter. I have to admit, I don't really know what the aim of the deck was, though. There were a lot of mismatching elements, in my opinion. The things like all that big Smuggle Ring, Dragon's Horde combination plays, the Sacrifice built into the deck, could be Kargrim, and then the Raw Kraken at 10 gold. Interesting stuff, interesting stuff. Not sure where the deck was going, but it was able to pick up a win here, so again, very nicely done. But let's go ahead and move on to our final match now, match number 3, and see what our main event has in store for us. Alright, in match number 3, sees an android. I think it's an android. I'm just going to use that for reference sake. Going up against joesnoid, good old Joe. Looks like a Crusader Viking going up against another Warlock Viking. So we'll see if there's another rush deck on the opposite side for us here, but we're going to have an interesting start for android here. Things like Pacifism, Paladin, Luminaris, Cloak. Interesting stuff here. I'm not sure if this is a Knight build within the blue-yellow here. Okay, another Paladin going into hand here. I would say probably more of a Knight deck, considering you run things like Luminaris. But Pacifism could mean a Defiance package as well. Not too sure, but excited to see how this one goes here. We're going to see a Scout for turn. Cloak of Ice on the Dwarven Paladin, followed up by a Battle Ready. I think the Cloak was a bit unnecessary, but hey, looks like it will go down here. Dwarf Paladin able to remove the Scout for turn here. Alrighty. Metal, of course, going to 5 gold for the Rune Warrior, so we can remove that Paladin with ease. A bit unfortunate that we had to lose the Cloak of Ice in that way. I think it was, again, a bit unnecessary, although we're going to get it right back. Okay, repercussions mean nothing, I guess. Going with the second Battle Ready as well, making this big boy a bit bigger at a 4/6 again. Alright. Joe having to pass his turn 5, that's a bit scary. Of course, Paladin hitting for 4 on base, passing it back. Not a lot from either player at this point, which does kind of tell me that Joe's deck isn't maybe rush-oriented. If we're not seeing plays by like turn 3, turn 2, then we probably have some more later game options, which again steer us away from that early aggro, that early rush strategy here. So, okay, not another rush deck, but we are going to see Frost Giant for turn. That is going to hit the board and most likely freeze the Paladin, seeing as it's the only unit on board here. As I sort of accidentally scrolled past the cards a little bit without knowing here, and I quickly realized it. Alright, we'll see Frog Prince for turn. That's going to be a nice heal for the Dwarven Paladin here, and a nice cleanup for that Frost Giant. We do have another Frog Prince in hand, which, by the way, I will take the time to mention Frog Prince, scary card outside of Knight decks. If you aren't running it in your Crusader decks and have some copies lying around, I do recommend giving it a spin. It is a deadly, deadly card that your opponent might not have the out for, considering it is a 6/7 and has that resolve, so of course sticks along the board a little bit longer for you to get a better trade out of another unit or so. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind if you're looking for a card to play in your Crusader decks. Moving on, though, in the matchup, we've got Lich coming down, freezing off both the Frog Prince and the Paladin. Nice stuff there. Horseman hitting the board, hitting the castle. Unfortunately, not what he wanted to hit. Probably wanted to hit something like the Paladin or the Frog Prince to get rid of that resolve here. But this allows a second Frog Prince to come out for turn, healing up that 6/3 back to a 6/6. Again, still with the resolve here, so these Frog Princes synergize with each other, getting a little bit deadly here, forcing Joe to use that blue Firebolt onto the Paladin here, and Mist Journey hitting the Lich. So maybe a bit of a initiative freeze deck here. Going to go ahead and freeze off both the Frog Princes, allowing Andrew to set up an Earth Knight for turn. And that's about it. I'm looking at the hand actually now, because I've been paying more attention to the board lately, and there are some interesting spells coming into Android's hand here. Thrill of Victory, not something that we see often here on the ladder. Curious if this is more of a Knight Voltron build. We'll see Lich trade into the Frog Prince to remove it, getting some damage in to set up properly for the Yennaroth here. Okay, second Pacifism for turn. Pacifism will do well here to neutralize the Yennaroth for a bit here. If there's a global, Pacifism will backfire, but we'll see if it is the case here. Second Yennaroth for turn. Okay, so we are somewhat still safe. Hell, we can even play a second Pacifism, which I think is what we might do, right? Yeah, we go for a second Pacifism. So we are not allowed to play Yennaroth here, as they both receive a 0 attack stat, thanks to Pacifisms. Very nice, very nice. And then we'll set up a Genevieve, which most likely will be receiving some buffs here, I imagine. Oh, Jesus, third Yennaroth. Someone call Beastly. There's another one on the board here, and he's not going to like that. We'll fire off one of these Luminaris a bit early here. Honestly, won't do much to affect the board. I think he probably could have gotten away with just passing for turn. But, I mean, I do recognize that he maybe wanted to use the Luminaris to reduce that big Yennaroth down there, so that way it makes a worse trade with one of these Frog Princes, because it has to at this point. Yep, we'll see that. Yennaroth going into the top Frog Prince. Dragon's Fire finishing it off for turn here. Blue Firebolt causing resolve from the second Frog Prince to disappear. But still leaving these big Yennaroths, these empty Villaroths, if you will, onto the board here. We'll see Thrill of the Victory go on. Okay, the Genevieve. I kind of assumed that would be the case here. So we're going to see this bad boy get a bit powered. A bit more powered. Actually, we'll get this bad girl. Genevieve is a woman after all. Don't want to misgender or anything in 2021, or else my ass will be cancelled. As we see the life ticking away from Joe here. Sudden death is approaching us. We'll see Yarm come out for turn here. That's going to do a little bit of Thunderstrike chain lightning damage here, but unfortunately Android able to survive. The Genevieve's Android's Genevieve able to survive, excuse me here. Frog Prince for a third time hits the board, restoring Genevieve to nearly full health, being able to take out that Yarm Giant, no problem. Throw the Victory, seeking it back up to that, you know, scary stat line, throwing it back to Joe, who really I don't think can remove this Genevieve without sort of like freeze stall. He does play Frost Giant, which lands on the Earth line. Not what he wants to see here, going for the Rider onto the Genevieve. A bit of an interesting turn there. We do take some damage on Joesnoid, but not really going to matter thanks to Thrill of the Victory here. And yeah, I think this is going to be it here. We do see Lightning Blade for turn. Alright, we'll probably see what, like Luminaris, right? Okay, Luminaris here. Okay, Joesnoid goes into the Yennaroth. This allows the Frog Prince to deal the remaining 6 sudden death to finish it off, or Earthline to finish it off, because we can end our own games. And with that, Android does pick up the win. Very nicely done from Android here up in this matchup. It's been a while since I've seen some sort of night blue-yellow Voltron build, so good to see that is still kicking around somewhere. And you can make a scary Joesnoid with that deck, man. My word, what is that thing up to? Like 9-8, I think? 11-9, my bad, 11-9. Big Joesnoid. And I don't think a lot of decks can remove something like that, considering that Deflect is on Joesnoid. Of course, not being able to be targeted by spells is a pretty big deal when you have things in people's decks like, oh, I don't know, Mercenary's Execution, Murder, all these sort of direct targeting spells and whatnot. So it's been unfortunate for Joe here, but he will unfortunately take the loss, and that does give Android the victory. So again, very nicely done, but with that being said, that is going to be our final matchup for the day. So let's go ahead and move out to close this video. Alright folks, and with that being said, it's going to wrap up our video here for today. If you guys did enjoy what you saw here in this edition of TV Commentary, let me know what you guys thought of the match, by leaving your thoughts, of course, down in the comment section below. While down there, if you've done so, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Help grow the channel that we have here. Help show your support the channel by clicking the subscribe button at no additional cost to you. With that being said, guys, that's going to do it for me for now. So until next time, stay gaming.